Lauren Gilmore. She also just recently graduated from the Preventative Health Practitioner certification that we had a couple weeks ago now. So we're interviewing her today. We're just talking before we jumped on. I really just want to hear your story. You had a pretty significant health journey that brought you, to us in the first place. So kind of tell us about that and just your experience going through.
Yeah, so I've been, I always say that my GI issues, my gastrointestinal stomach issues were always my number one problem. I mean, that dated back to, even as like a child, we can, after discussing with my family, we can determine that I did have issues like when I was young. But it did get predominantly worse in college. I was in nursing school, so I had to deal with the stress of that. My dad was diagnosed with cancer. Then I got into my job, and that was obviously very stressful as a bedside nurse. So things just kind of kept progressing with my GI issues. I would have to have a bathroom available immediately. I would stress out about where the next bathroom was. Like I always had to think about, and like, especially in the mornings, if like we were going somewhere, I'd have to like not eat, not drink anything. And then I'd be thinking about the next bathroom and where I could stop. So a lot of anxiety revolving around that. And then my dad did die in 2023. So then I was dealing with the stress of that. And then I was just like noticing some other random things, like obviously brain fog. I would have a hard time coming up with words, remembering things. And then like a hard time concentrating, I was noticing. And so yeah, it was just like a constant cycle of this like anxiety, and then it would make my GI issues and then stress about that. And then as a nurse, I feel like I know so much, and then I would have like anxiety about my health, and then I'd get my labs drawn and my cholesterol was out of the sky high. And yeah, so a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, horrible GI issues.
And conventional, being a nurse,
Yeah,
wasn't helping you.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. And it just shows you, and we talk about this all the time, that stress, all of these things cause dysfunction within the body, which you were obviously experiencing. When you don't get it taken care of, it gets worse and worse, right?
Mm-hmm.
We teach you, you're either going towards disease or going towards health. So clearly
Mm-hmm.
you're going towards disease because symptoms
Yes.
are getting worse. But yeah, then when that stress comes in, I was thinking this morning, for some reason, I was imagining like my KitchenAid mixer with, the mixers up to the bowls up to the top with ingredients. And then all of a sudden you turn on the mixer on full speed and it's like,
Yes.
it explodes. That's what the stress does. It's not necessarily what causes everything, but it is just exacerbates everything.
Yeah.
Definitely. So yeah. So and then by the time that Lauren did come to us, you were diagnosed with SIBO.
Yes. Yeah.
With all the
And
other symptoms.
I forgot to mention, near the last couple months before I found out about you guys, I was having those like neurological issues. Like my eyes would like twitch, like my actual eyeballs, not like my skin, but like my actual eyeballs like have weird movements. And then like we'd be driving in the car and I had feelings of like nearly passing out. So that was also very concerning too. That was kind of towards the end that I was starting to notice that stuff.
Right. New symptoms popping up.
Yeah.
Random symptoms, and they're always random and don't really seem to correlate. And you're young too. We did Vanessa's interview last week and she was 27. I think when we first met her, but you're about the same age, right?
Yeah, I'm 25.
Yeah. So young. And
Mhm.
it's amazing how many young people are experiencing these symptoms.
Yeah.
It's not older people or that type of thing. But anyway, so we want to hear Lauren's journey, of course, what led her to us. So then I'm curious. So you moved right into the PHP certification as soon as you were done working with us. So what prompted you to do that?
I've always kind of had this interest in holistic medicine. And I even though I am a nurse, I don't always 100% agree with what they do and what they prescribe and how, these patients are treated with medicine just all the time. I do feel that people need to take responsibility for their actions and realize that, what they're doing to their bodies is not okay. And, even, and then I always see that, I mean, even my dad, I mean, he had cancer, he went through the chemotherapy, he went through radiation, and it was ultimately, long story short, it was ultimately the side effects of chemo that killed him.
Right.
And so I just know, well, I know, obviously know now, but I knew that there was a way to fix this stuff. And, after doing the Body Burden Boot Camp and the Take Your Health Back Now system, it's just, I just find it so interesting and empowering that this is something that, everyone can do to heal their bodies.
Right. And ultimately, why nobody should be sick in the first place.
Right.
If
Exactly.
this knowledge was out there, nobody would be sick with a chronic illness.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you went ahead and signed up for the PHP program. She did. Again, we have a lot of people that work with us that were first patients with us in our clinic. And then they're so inspired to move on. So Lauren's another one. But again, if you would come to the PHP certification, you still go through as a client, whether you've worked with us in the practice, in our clinic or not. But anyway, so then you moved right into the certification. So how was your experience going through the actual certification piece of the program where you're learning why we built this the way we did?
It was very interesting. I mean, kind of like Vanessa, what she said, I like learning the why behind things. I'm definitely the type of person that's, especially with my medical background, I want to know, why we do these things
Right.
and how it does, affect the organs and the toxins that are, you take in every day, just walking, or eating, and the thoughts, like all of that, how that affects your organs directly, and then how that affects your overall health. So I loved learning about that. And then even like the business side of things too, just the importance of marketing. I have no type of business knowledge at all. So that was kind of new to me and interesting to, see all of the marketing side of things. And then just like how to talk to people. That's also new to me is, you just like to talk about like what you've been through and how like everything has helped you, but actually like speaking to the person and their thoughts in their head and how like what you can say to help make things resonate with them.
Right. And that's a big piece of our business side of the certification. So, we call it our Take Your Health Back Now system, and it is how we're able to help people eliminate symptoms and prevent chronic disease. But it's also the whole business systems in place. And a big piece of it is what you've said. So this is what we've learned with working with people for 2 decades in our clinic. You have to know how to speak to people. And, there's a whole science behind that. And that's where a lot of certification programs are lacking. You don't get that. So then you're just kind of on your own.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you brought that up because that's really important.
Mhm.
Because you can't help anyone until they actually sign up to work with you,
Mhm.
and you can't have somebody sign up to work with you unless you're really speaking to them the right way.
Right.
That's a big piece of it. And then as far as the program goes, I just wanted to say we built this and developed it in our private practice for real people like you, get real results. And there are also no other certification programs out there that came from that space. So how does that make you feel a lot more confident moving forward and working with people that you're actually using our system as opposed to then maybe you have the knowledge, but now you've got to come up with your own, program to work with somebody?
Yeah, I mean it's like with the history behind all of it and the results that you guys constantly see. I mean, I think that's a huge teller of how well this program works. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's different. Most programs you get the knowledge, the basic knowledge, maybe foundational knowledge,
Right.
but then you've got to come up with your own program or how you're going to work with
Oh
some,
yeah.
that kind of thing. And ours, you are now certified to use our system.
Yeah,
which
I think
we built.
yeah, that's huge. I like that piece, you know, can you hear me? I'm like frozen. Oh, okay, I'm frozen on my end.
You're not on your
Um, I like that piece of it. And then I also like that you have to go through the body burden boot camp in order, you know, to do the actual training part. Just because I think like it goes back to the whole like you have to walk the walk to talk the talk. Um, just so like you are aware of what those people are going through, especially like the bone broth fast. And you know, just like so you know how to help them get through it.
Right. Well, it helps when you know how you navigated it yourself.
Yeah. And
And
give them
yeah,
tips.
just tips and feedback and how you
Yeah.
make the bone broth, or, you know, ways that you've incorporated the diet into your lifestyle, or what you've changed out in your house as far as environment. It
Right.
really helps people to hear that from you, as
Mhm.
opposed to, we have this checklist. If you do it all, you'll get better, which is true, but you helping them navigate. So not only the support and accountability you give them, but actually your real world, how you did it for yourself.
Right.
Yeah. And continue to do it because
Yeah.
you're living this lifestyle now. Yeah. That's a huge piece of it. So then, okay, so with our certification weekend, so I've mentioned before that we always do certifications in person. And the reason is because so that we can just deep dive into any questions you have, make sure that you really feel confident and that kind of thing. So how was that?
I loved I loved doing the in-person and kind of having those like 2 intense days. I mean, obviously I came in with a list of questions. So it was nice having that like personal one-on-one time with you guys to get those questions answered and, you know, dive deep back through the whole program. And it's nice. I mean, like we talked about it on the live calls and stuff like that, but you know, the more repetition, the more I understand things. So it was nice to kind of just go through things again too in person.
Right. So you feel pretty confident moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. And then where are you with your business? Because I know Lauren came off of certification weekend and then went on vacation. So obviously you weren't getting your business ready to launch at that point. So
Yeah.
are you ready? Are you close? Where are you?
Yeah. I have the acuity schedule set up in my intake form. Um, and I think I'll just have to send that to Jenny, like the link I have to send to her.
Mhm.
Put it on my website. And then my Facebook website, my Facebook page is almost done. I'm trying to work on like the format of my cover page. Like it's this like little technical stuff that I'm like, why is this holding me back?
Right.
Um, but and then I'm just a little bit struggling. Kind of goes back to the whole marketing thing and learning all of that stuff, but like posting on social media, worrying about what other people think of me. So
Right.
things like that that I just need to get over. And you know, it is what it is.
Right. And we focus on that a lot too, right? We
Yeah.
talk about that a lot because you can't worry about what people, if you're not getting any likes, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Be looking at it, but it's those blocks that hold us back. So we do focus a lot on that as you're moving through. And so many people never launch their business or never help a person because they get hung up on the technical stuff, like
Yeah.
what we're talking about, getting your Facebook page just right, or if you're going to do Instagram or your website, or we talked about how we've seen people that never got past their logo. So we try to do all of that up to when you certify, and then support you through it where you are right now, so that you can get that done and just get out there and start helping people. And that's the goal for us. Okay, so tell everybody the name of your business and who you help.
So I came up with Alinea Health, wellness from the ground up. Alinea in Latin means like a new paragraph or like the start of a new paragraph. So it's supposed to symbolize the start of your new health journey.
Okay.
And then my ideal client would preferably just be someone like me. I mean, I know it's not going to be exact. People are going to experience different symptoms, but so preferably probably women of all ages, just because I know what it feels like to be 13 with GI issues, and I also know what it feels to be 24 with GI issues. Anxiety, health anxiety, fatigue, whether that's waking up with no energy and having no energy throughout the day, or having that 3 o'clock wanting to take a nap, or both. A hard time concentrating, brain fog. So just those random little symptoms. And I understand that people are, like I said, going to come to me with different things. So I'm open to more, but kind of that's just like a general ideal client.
Right. Okay, perfect. And you brought up a couple good points. So you were talking about the age, you've been 13, you've been 24. At my age, I'm turning 56 next week, you don't want to feel the way you have felt this last
Right.
few years, or what you could possibly feel like if you didn't get help. So even though you're not that age yet, that's not for you. And then the other thing that you mentioned kind of in the beginning, you mentioned the anxiety around if people have GI issues, which is somebody you want to work with, the anxiety that comes from feeling like you have to constantly, wherever you are, know where the bathrooms are, and if there's a problem. And so many people are experiencing this. So anyway, so yes. So hopefully if anybody sees this, of course we want anybody seeing this that wants to go through the PHP program, that would be awesome. But also, if you hear Lauren's story and who she works with resonates with you, or if you know somebody that would want to work with her, if you could pass her information along, that would be great. Because you're ready. I mean, you call her now, she's ready to take you. So give them you gave them your name. So that's just that, like, that's your Facebook. People can contact you there. Okay.
Yeah. Alinea Health is the Facebook page.
Okay, perfect. And you don't have your website quite ready, right?
No, there's some things I still have to give Jenny.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. But once you can check her out on her Facebook page, and then once she has that up and going, then she can put the link there. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
I don't think so.
Okay. Oh, one more question. Are you board certified yet? Have you done that?
No, but it's funny you say that because I was just looking it up. I have my ID here to do that.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Perfect. All right. Thank you, Lauren, for
Thank you.
Your story through here. And actually, if what Lauren's been saying resonates with you, we actually did an interview with you, a podcast, right? So you can go any place that our podcast is, the Take Your Health Back Now podcast, or on a YouTube channel if you want to hear more about Lauren's story. And I think the topic is Lauren's story, or Lauren's something Lauren. So you can definitely find it if you want to hear the more in depth of her story. So, all right. Well, thank you for listening, and have a wonderful day, Lauren. And we will talk to you on Friday.
All right. Sounds good.